Yo, welcome into the show, man. Episode one of the Green Thumb Academy, man. Good morning, Aunt Bayless. What's
Good
good with
morning,
my
brother.
dog?
Good to see you, man. How you doing?
I'm all right, brother. I'm all right, man. I'm excited about this show, man.
Me too, brother. Me too.
Out here talking plants,
Yes,
talking
sir.
growing.
Yes, sir.
Hey, it's been a long time coming. A lot of people got a lot of questions about this shit.
Right, right. Hell yeah.
Yeah. How you doing on this Saturday morning, man? What's up with you?
I'm
Cincinnati's
doing.
cold, brisk
It's
Cincinnati
cold,
morning.
cold out there, man. I'm feeling good. I'm excited about the show. I got another grower with me. I know I've seen your work, so I know your credentials. So I'm excited to get this to the people, man.
Hell yeah, man. I know you don't smoke like that, man. I'm sitting here smoking on some of my own shit this morning. It's tasting pretty good.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
Hmm.
So let me ask you, let's start the show off, and I'm gonna ask you what got you into growing, man.
Shit, man. Being a smoker, smoking weed for years. I really, I would say it was my girl's, like my brother-in-law. He,
Okay.
uh, he was growing, and he don't even smoke like that either. Like he kind of like you, but he was growing, and he was showing me pictures of his plants and it motivated me. It's actually a little story of how I started growing indoors. So he just motivated me to start growing, period. So I had put a couple plants outside,
Okay.
and it was growing good. Like I had a nice big, it was a male, but I had a big old male plant growing on my porch in the front yard, and I had another female plant growing on the ground in the front yard. It was flowering nice. It was both good.
Okay.
But somebody stole my female plant first. Like dug it up out the ground. I came
Damn.
outside one morning, it was gone. So they dug that up and took that. And then the big male plant, it was sitting on my front porch. Somebody stole that. And you don't
Wow.
even get weed off males. Like it
Right.
wasn't even no weed on it. It was just a big ass weed plant. But they didn't know. They stole the whole bucket, the whole pot. So
Damn.
so when somebody did that, I immediately called him because he was always telling me he had lights for me and shit. He had sent me a light. I called him and told him to send me the light. I didn't have no tent. I just went into my back room. I had like an office. I went into the closet and I just put aluminum foil and stuff. I made the closet like a grow tent.
Hell yeah. Hell
And
yeah.
shit, when that light came, that started me on my grow indoors. I've been growing ever since. That was like 6 years ago.
Okay. Okay. That's what's up. Me. I started growing really because I can't smoke, and I still wanted to have my fun with cannabis. You know what I mean? So not only that, but seemed like a good hobby, and I've heard growing ain't that easy. You know what I mean? So I kind of wanted
Hmm.
a challenge because there's been plenty of people who've tried to grow, and then somewhere along the way they don't get from start to finish. You know what I mean? So
Fact.
I looked at it as a challenge, and like I said, since I can't smoke, I wanted to have my fun with it still. So just a hobby and a challenge, and I've been growing for 2 years, and I've grown some really good bud, man. So the, I wanted to do this show because I had to learn on my own. I had to go through the mistakes, failed plants. You know what I mean? And searching YouTube, what's the right video to watch? Do I do it this way? Do I do it that way? So try to make it a little easier for people who are interested in doing it. You know what I mean?
No, absolutely, man. Absolutely. That's how I taught myself how to grow on YouTube. It
Yep.
wasn't a bunch of people or like I said, my dude Nate, that's my brother-in-law. That's who taught me how to like show me the basis of it, but he didn't like give me lessons on how to grow, you feel me?
Right.
Matter of fact, he when I had my grow going, when I got it jumped off and everything, we had ended up going on a vacation. When we came back from the vacation, he brought me a couple clones. He brought me like three clones. It was green crack. I can't remember the other two, but I specifically remember the green crack because that was my first time ever getting spider mites. You know what
Okay.
I'm saying? See,
Okay.
people that give you plants and shit. He gave me some plants that had some bugs. Boy, that infested my whole grow, and it took me a minute to grow some shit without spider mites being on it because it was hard to get rid of them.
Right.
Damn
Right.
near impossible for real, for real.
Yeah. Yeah. That's definitely something you run into.
Yeah, yeah, man. But yeah, pests is a. We'll get into that eventually too. But yeah, pests.
Right.
That's a
Right.
real thing when you're growing weed, man. It's
Yeah.
it's a real thing.
Shout out to Jimmy, and I couldn't see who the other person was, but good morning, fellas, and thanks for being here.
Oh, that was me telling Jimmy good morning. Shit, good morning,
Okay,
Jimmy.
okay.
Uh, oh, but yeah, man. So what we gonna be doing is taking everybody on a journey through the grow. You know, through our grow. We gonna start at the same time. We pretty much already started though. So we're gonna
Right.
take y'all through the germination process, through the seedlings, through the just the vegetative stage, all the way up through the flowering stage, all the way up through harvest,
Right.
all the way through all of that. You feel me? Shit, all the way up to the outside grow. Right now we just doing indoors.
Yep.
So we got a lot of shit leading up to outdoors. It don't just start in one day. And you can take plants from indoors to outdoors.
Right.
It's a lot of stuff to cover, man. It's a lot of shit to cover. We
For
both
sure.
germinate in our own way. You know what
Right.
I'm saying? A lot of
Right.
people do. It's not no one way to germinate. I know I tried different methods. I've tried the paper towel method.
Mhm.
I've tried just straight into the ground. I done put it the seeds in the cup. So what's your favorite way to germinate?
So for me, I like photo periods and auto flowers. I do different. So
Okay. So how you germinate your photo periods?
photo periods, I like to do the paper towel method. And before or let me back can we backtrack real quick, because there's
Go
one
ahead, go
video
ahead.
I want to play for the people, because before we get into germination, I want people to understand that there's different kind of seeds. Okay, you got autoflowers, photo periods, and when you're going to start to grow, when you decide to grow, you need to understand that you have different kind of soils. Okay, so some soils have all the nutrients in it you need at the beginning. You'll have to add stuff later, but there's some soil you could just put your seed in, put water on. There's some soil that you have to put nutrients in from the seedling stage. It has basically no nutrients in it. um, for people who smoke, I mean, the dispensaries are open now, so there's indicas and sativas. Which one do you like? Do you like indicas, sativas? Depending on what you like, is what kind of seeds you're gonna want to get. You know what I mean? Also, there's different nutrients. So, Will, if you would cue video one for me, we'll get into that real quick.
Right, it's time to germinate. I'm going to
Oh no, no,
germinate
no,
the
that's
photo
that's number
periods and
two.
tell you how to do that. There's a couple.
Video one was
Right,
on
it's time to germinate. I'm going to germinate.
wasn't labeled.
All right, guys, as you need. Periods and take.
Let's see. He might not have that one. Okay, that's all right. So I'm just
Well,
improvise.
it's cool if
So
you don't. We'll get to it.
video on. Okay, all right, yeah. So all right, basically, so I'm just gonna improvise it. So like I was saying, guys, there's different seeds. So all right, you're deciding to grow. All right, there's something called a photo period and an autoflower. Okay, and D, jump in whenever. So photo periods are gonna they take longer to grow, and you're going to usually get a bigger yield. A bigger yield means more marijuana. Okay, and usually photo periods are more potent, but with the autoflower, it's a quick turnaround. Okay, um, quick turnaround, and the light cycle, which we'll get into later. But a photo period, you have to make it go in the flower. Autoflower goes in the flower by itself. That's why it's called an autoflower. So decide on what kind of seed you want to get. Um, like I said, soil is not, some has nutrients, some doesn't. And then what kind of nutrients do you want to use if you decide to go that route? I usually go with Fox Farm. That's a like more of a beginner's nutrient line. It's easy, and I'd say do Fox Farm first. Learn how to put nutrients in your water and your soil, and then you can graduate to a so-called better nutrient line. But that's all before germination. Just deciding what you want to get and how you want to grow. You got anything for that, D?
Yeah, actually, Will, you can cue my video up. So where I get my stuff from, I like to go to the gardening store or the hydroponic store. I get Fox Farm soil. They got the ocean forest. They got the worm castings. All right, they got the Happy Frog. Different version. Happy Frog is a version of Fox Farm that don't have as many nutrients. Ocean Forest is the version of Fox Farm, the blue bag with a lot of nutrients in it. And a lot
Right.
of them comes from the ocean. Obviously, it's called Ocean Forest. but I use 3 gallon, 5 gallon pots. But I get them all from there though. Most, like you said, Ocean Forest and the Fox Farm products that he just showed you, you can use those and just you don't even have to add, you don't have to pH your water, you don't have to do none of that. That stuff is like just growing for dummies. That's what I like to use because I don't like to feed that much. So I prefer to just transplant.
Right. Right.
So again, if you don't want to use the nutrients, you can just start off by you can just put your plants into a paper cup, go from the paper cup into a 1 gallon.
Yep.
When they fill up the 1 gallon, go from a 1 gallon to a 5 gallon and flower it right out of there. And you might have to feed a little bit, but when you do all that transplanting, that's giving it new soil. When you get the new soil, they don't need fed because it's new soil with new
Right.
nutrients in it.
For
So
sure. For sure. So yeah, once you decide what kind of seed, soil, and nutrients, if you go the nutrient way, once you decide you get all that, now it's time for germination. So
hmm
for photo periods, I'm gonna have Will cue my video from my germination for my photo periods. That would be the paper towel method.
okay, paper towel method.
Right,
And that
it's
would
time to
be
germinate. I'm gonna germinate my photo periods and tell you how to do that. There's a couple items you need. I use a black heating pad. It speeds up the process. It's gonna keep the seeds warm and it's gonna make them humid. You need paper towels. Make sure you get cheap paper towels that are flat. You don't want the expensive ones with the designs in them. It'll make the root grow into it, and you don't want that. You want flat, cheap paper towels. Then I got my Ziploc baggies. Make sure you label them. Don't get your strands mixed up. Dynamite, Diesel, and Blue Skunk. Okay? I've already put my seeds on the paper towel. Make sure your paper
Dynamite
towel's wet.
diesel.
This is Blue Skunk. Seed is right here. Wet paper towel. Fold it over. Just like that. Second, this is Dynamite Diesel. Already on there. Wet paper towel. Fold it over. Just like that. Okay? Now I'm going to take my Blue Skunk. Put it inside the paper towel. And what you want to do is zip it just a little bit. You want to keep some space for air. It's going to make it humid in there. Same thing with Dynamite Diesel. Go ahead and put it on in there. Zip it up just a little bit. Put it on the heating pad. I would then take my heating pad, plug it in. I'm gonna wait a day, two. I'm gonna take it, check them. Once the tail pops out long enough, I'm gonna plant them. But I will check back in with you guys in a day, two, and we'll see how our photo periods look.
Yeah, man, I like that. That's shit, short and sweet, right to it.
Yeah, and that's for me for photo periods. And remember, guys, like I said, that's photo periods. I wouldn't try to germinate an autoflower like that. Germinating autoflowers is completely different, and we'll talk about that in a minute. But how do you
Right.
germinate your photo periods, V?
All right, so my photo periods, and Will, you can drop that track. My photo periods, man, I take the seeds, I put them into a cup. I got different ways, but for this particular grow, I put them into the cup with the water in it. I leave it into a dark cabinet or something like that for about 2 days. And I usually get the little white tails that you can see from yours popping up on there. So leave them in there for about 2 days, pull them out of there. Then I put them, and again, Will, you can keep on going through them. And then I put them into the dirt. I straight from the dirt with the tails poking out of them. So I poke, get the dirt ready, get the soil ready. That's Fox Farm right there that you see in those cups. And you see they're all empty pots right there. So I took the seeds, put the seeds in there, and shoot, after about 2 or 3 days of that, the seeds pop up.
Yep.
And shoot, you get what you see right there, little seedlings. That's after 1 week.
Yeah.
And then after another week, shoot, these are gonna be pretty much those on steroids. So we get like about 5 seedlings after that. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So straight from the water, straight to the soil, and straight up out the dirt. It's other ways to do it. This is just one way, and it works. As you see, I got stuff all off the dirt already.
Oh yeah.
So that was
Fact.
probably from the seed to the what you just seen right there was 2 weeks.
Oh yeah. Hell yeah. Growing like a weed.
No, for real, man. I know that might be too slow for some people, but hey, again, you gotta have patience.
For
Can't
sure.
be in a
No.
rush when you're doing this.
Nah, then you know what? You'll see a little bit of growth every day. So I mean, it might be slow for some people. When you open your tent the next day and you see that little bit of growth, you know you're doing something right. You know what I mean?
No, for real. Even if it's just a little bit, like you said, it's when you're looking at your plants every day, you'll notice that little bit of growth, though, man.
Right, right.
But I see you got them names. You got the dynamite, diesel, and all of that. Where you get your seeds from?
All right, so I usually get my seed from a company called Seedmans, okay? And
Mm,
you go on
I'm hit the
Seedmans.
seeds, man.
Yeah, you go on there and anybody watching, go on Seedmans and any strand that you've ever smoked, okay? They have it all. And you know what? They got seeds as cheap as $10 for a 3 pack or 5 pack. And you might spend for a good one, you might spend $50 for a 3 to 5 pack. It's they got the price range is crazy. And then if you buy a couple different packs, they'll throw you free seeds. I get free seeds all the time. I got so many auto flowers because I'll go on and buy seeds and they just throw me a gift. You know what I mean? So
Hmm.
Seedmans, and then there's also a company called Royal Queen Seeds. But yeah, I trust both of those companies. And they have, like I said, I mean, strands I ain't never even heard of. Get them from there.
Okay, yeah. See, I'm not too into like buying seeds and stuff like that. I forgot. My sister, she grows weed too. I forgot what website. I always got to ask her every time, like, what's the website you use? And then I never actually buy any off of there. Either
Yeah,
she buys some and give me some, or I just got so many seeds that I've been growing just my own stuff for so long. Like I don't even go
right.
out looking for seeds. You feel me?
Hell yeah.
I am gonna get a couple of them name brand seeds from you though, man.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Oh, and then
I want to
another
grow some
thing.
dynamite diesel, and you got some Mike Tyson something over there too, don't you?
Yeah, the Dynamite Diesel is for Mike Tyson.
All right, okay, okay.
Yeah. Another thing, and I'm gonna shout out this guy, but there's a company in Dayton, Ohio called Beans for Days. Okay, and this is straight autoflowers. He sells no photo periods. Okay, so if you guys want some good autoflower genetics, and go to Beans for Days. Okay, you can find them on Facebook, and the reason what turned me on to them when I went to my grocery store, they had it in there, but they were promoting them because somebody grew a pound off of an autoflower. And if you guys was listening in the beginning, you don't usually get pounds off of autoflowers, okay? Uh, you can
No,
get a
you
pound
don't.
off a photo period, but like I said, autoflowers usually you get a smaller yield. So dude, way he's making these seeds to get a pound off of autoflower is crazy. So I definitely would recommend. And I'm not saying you're going to get a pound off of autoflower. I'm saying you can. If you
Right.
get,
I'm under his grow, under the optimal grow.
yes, yes.
He
If
maxing
you
it out.
do
Yeah.
maxing it out, right? So I'm not. Don't say, well, you said you was gonna get a pound. No, you do it right, and it takes a couple different grows to get good. But definitely check out Beans for Days for the autoflowers because he's off the hook.
All right, man. I'll definitely keep that in mind, man.
Oh yeah.
So just to give people another idea or another definition of the difference between autoflowers and photo periods. So do you know where autoflowers come from?
I don't.
All right, so let's go ahead story time. All right, man.
Hmm.
So all right, listen. So photo periods. Photo periods are obviously, and I'm not gonna say obviously because everybody don't grow, so it's just obvious to us, right? But photo periods they're basically the regular weed plants. They're the regular plants. That's weed in its natural state, a photo period. It comes up in the springtime. When you germinate your seed, you get it wet. That's the same thing as in the springtime, that seed has been sitting outside under the ground. And then when it finally rains in the spring, it gets wet. So it comes up. That's what you're germinating. So your seed come up in the springtime. It veges and grows out and gets big and bushy throughout the summertime. And then close to the end of the summer and into the fall, that's when it starts to flower. All right. So it's on a time from spring, summer, fall. Right. So
Right.
it goes off of the clock, off of the sun. That's what
Yep.
the photo period is. Now, skip over autoflower, ignore autoflower for a second because autoflowers didn't always exist. It was photo periods, and there was a plant in the mountains. It was called a ruderalis plant. And the ruderalis plant is a version of cannabis. It's a cannabis plant, but remember I said it grows in the mountains.
Mhm.
So it doesn't get the spring, summer, and fall and all of that to grow bushy and do all of that. So because it's so this season is so short for the ruderalis plant in the mountains, it only grows so big, but it'll flower. So it'll flower weed, but it won't get that big because it's in the mountains and it's not getting that long of a summer. So it
Right.
may only get a half a foot to a foot off the ground and a little bit of weed on it. So what they did was because that's still a cannabis plant, you
Hmm.
think of it like breeding dogs.
Right.
They took the photo periods, took a female, and they took a male ruderalis plant and they bred those across with each other. So
Okay.
now when they think of it as children, so now when they get those seeds, some of those seeds got the ruderalis trait where they flower quickly because that's
Gotcha.
a trait for the ruderalis because it's in the mountains. It has to flower quickly. So now you got some of these seeds flower quickly like the ruderalis, and some of them still flower like photoperiods. Well, if you just keep crossing them over again with each other until you just get what you want the plant that flowers quickly, but it produces weed still, a lot of weed. And that's how
Right.
they get the autoflowers. That's where autoflowers came from. They crossed photoperiods with ruderalis plants. Ruderalis
Gotcha.
plants are that's the fast flower trait. And that's what makes autoflowers. That's why you can. That's what brings us to autoflowers. Now, autoflowers they don't go off of spring, summer, and fall because they're not photoperiods and they're not ruderalis. They're a hybrid version of them. So autoflowers they're gonna grow no matter how much light they get, long as they get a reasonable amount of daylight.
Right.
Long as they get a reasonable amount of daylight, they're gonna grow full out no matter what. Then they're gonna grow quickly, just like a ruderalis would grow bigger than a
Right.
ruderalis because they got the photoperiod genes,
Yeah.
but still they're gonna grow and flower on their own without the sun changing because ruderalis plants don't wait for the sun to change. You know what I'm
Gotcha.
saying? They don't wait
Yeah.
for the fall to come. So
Okay. No,
that's where
no, that's what's
autoflowers
up.
come from.
I done learned something because I had no idea. That's crazy. That's crazy. Now I'll say this to the viewers because we've been, we started off with photos. An autoflower. So when you germinate an autoflower, this is the way I do it. Other people do different, but stress will make an autoflower go into flower quickly. Okay. So the way we're talking about transplanting photo periods, we'll start in a 1 gallon, 3 gallon, 5 gallon. You keep going up and transplanting. You don't, in my opinion, you don't ever want to transplant an autoflower because I've been in different groups. I've literally seen autoflowers and somebody stress it out, transplant it. I've seen a finished autoflower plant have one bud on it. I'm talking about people grew a joint. Okay. And
But
that's,
that's because the autoflower is on that time limit. Like I
yeah,
said, it's rushing. Like it got that ruderalis trait. It's literally rushing to
yeah,
grow.
yeah.
Where the
And
photo period is taking its time.
right. And bro, I've seen a plant with one bud on it like this. And I mean, it was done. You know what I mean? So,
Hmm.
you know, we'll get into low stress training later, okay? But you really want to treat an autoflower more delicate because it will, if you overstress it, it's going to go in, it's going to make it go in the flower much quicker. So with germinating autoflowers, instead of doing a paper towel, I like to germinate an autoflower in its forever home. A 5 gallon pot is what I use indoors, and a will should say video too, but if you would cue my video, I'm going to show them how I germinate an autoflower.
Okay,
We're
you got the
in the
autoflower germination
autoflower
too.
tent. It's time
Yep.
to germinate the autoflower, okay? What I have here is strawberry gorilla. We're gonna run one plant in our autoflower tent. It's the smaller tent of the two. I got two tents. So I'm gonna show you guys how to do this. Come on in. So this is my pot. I got my soil in it. You wanna take your finger and use your nail as a measuring stick, okay? What you wanna do is poke a hole in the middle of the pot. Poke a hole in the middle up to the tip of your fingernail, okay? Then you want to just take something like this and make a little hole inside of there. Something that's gonna be a nice little home for your seed. Okay. Then I'm gonna take one seed. And this is an important part a lot of people might not know about, but your seed has a pointy end and then a not so pointy end. One of the ends is pointier than the other. You always want to plant with the pointy seed, with the pointy part going down into the soil, okay? Or is the pointy part up? No, it's pointy part up. Okay, I'm sorry, guys. You want to do the pointy part up, okay? See, let me see what the point is. The point is right here. See, the tail or the root is going to come out of there, but then it's going to curl down, okay? So we're going to go ahead and take our seed, and as carefully as you can, put it down into that hole, okay? Just like that. Then you're going to cover it up, okay? And with that water that we made, we're not gonna drown it, but we're gonna get it nice and moist. Okay, now that's really it to germinating. What we're gonna do, I'm gonna take a water bottle. I'm gonna cut the water bottle in half. I'm gonna poke holes in it. I'm gonna put it over top of the seed. That way it's gonna make it nice and humid, make the seed pop, and we'll get germinated. So that's pretty much it on germinating autoflowers. It's gonna be a waiting game now. I might wait up to a week before it pops out of the soil. You just gotta be patient, keep the soil moist. See you guys in a little bit.
No, I like that for sure, man. That's
Yes,
definitely how
sir.
you get it done. Hey, you know what else I like to do too?
What's that?
I'll put a so when I'm doing my auto flowers, I like to go straight in the dirt like you did because I
Hmm.
don't like to I don't want to fuck with the seed or the tap root or none of that at all. I don't want to mess
Right.
it up because you can't. So I like to go straight in the dirt like that. But I'll take a like a clear paper cup, see-through one,
Hmm.
plastic cup. I'll spray it or water it and I'll set the cup over top of it like a dome.
Right.
So it's like a nice humidity dome
Yup.
and it'll start growing right up through the and like into the cup.
Yup.
Once it comes up out the ground, then I'll take the cup up off of it and let it
For
breathe.
sure. Yeah, yeah. And then that's another thing people gotta I want people to know. I'm glad you brought it up, is that especially like early and through the veg stage, humidity is important. Okay. Like think of it, I always think of it like the rainforest, uh in its optimal growing environment. So you can grow in not so humid, you don't have to have the dome, but it's better. You want your environment to be the best it can for your plant to grow and thrive. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
like he said, the humidity dome, it's only gonna make it better. You know what I mean?
You're gonna see that growth we talked about day by day. You're gonna see more growth by the day with that
Yes,
dome on there.
for sure. For sure.
You'll see a lot more growth on there.
But that's the difference. That's how the different ways we germinate photo periods and autoflowers. You know what I mean? So just if you once you get your seeds, and you refer back to this video and watch it, because we don't do autoflowers and photo periods the same. You know what I mean? But there's two different ways we showed you how to do photo periods, and then we pretty much do autoflowers the same. So refer back to that and get your seeds germinated. And main thing, be patient. Okay. Um, for me, photo periods germinate much faster. Paper towel, that seed pops out so quick. But I'm telling you, with autoflowers, you can wait literally 7 days, and you'll think, okay, it's not working. It's not working, and you'll go to put another seed in there. Well, after you put another seed in, the next day that one that you waited a week for done popped out. So just be patient.
Uh-huh.
It can literally take 7 days. And I say that to say this: don't put another seed in that dirt, because you do not want two plants growing out of the same pot. It'll mess everything up. Your pot is designed for the roots of one plant. Okay, and your roots really, to me, are the most important thing of the grow. We're developing roots. Really, is the way I look at it. Bigger roots, bigger fruits. Always remember that. So if you have two plants in one pot, your roots ain't gonna be that big. Your plant's not gonna be that big. You know what I mean? But yeah, that's
Yeah,
that.
it's
I think
overkill.
overkill, exactly. So I think we did a good job covering the germination process.
Yeah,
You
man. If
got
anybody
anything?
got any more questions about that, they can just jump in there and ask.
For sure, for sure.
But yeah, what I want to talk about now is all right, people who want to start a grow. Everybody wants to start a grow. You get a lot of people coming up to you. I'm sure I get a lot of people coming up to me. Like, oh man, I'm about to get some seeds. I'm about to get a tent. All right, if you would start in your grow, what would you do in order? Say you got nothing right now.
Hmm.
So you had nothing. You don't got no tent. You don't got no soil. You don't have no seeds. In what order or what would you how would you go about the business of starting your grow?
Okay, so just through experience, and that's a great question. just through experience. Like when I started out, I got a tent and a light combination. Okay, so I brought it off of I think it was Amazon, but it was a tent and a light that came together. Okay, me personally, now knowing what I know, I would invest my money in a light. A light be the first thing I get. Okay, and the reason I say that is because I've seen people not have a tent but have a hell of a good light and hang their light up. And I mean, I don't recommend this, but they've grown good bud outside of a tent, just but having a hell of a good light. And I think your light is really important. You know what I mean? People don't understand this, but depending on what kind of light you got, it's gonna be how much weed you get in the end. You know what I mean? Uh,
Hmm.
the good lights are important, man. So I would start with a light. But if you can get a light and a tent, definitely I would start there. You know what I mean? But
Hmm.
if I was on a budget and I really what do I have to have? Me personally, I would start with a light and then build off of that. How about you?
And I agree. The light is important. I'm not gonna say the most important, but I would say it's the most important for as far as I can't even say most important because when you say most important, all right, when we talk about soil, shit, that's gonna be pretty damn important too.
You
When we
absolutely
talk about temperature and environment, you know what I'm saying, that's gonna be pretty damn important too.
right.
Because you can have the best light and have the shitty soil and not get nothing.
True,
You can have the
true.
best light and the best soil and your temperature is not right. You're not gonna get nothing.
Yeah,
No, so I think everything is like equally as important. Like it's like a three-headed monster. You know what I
for
mean?
sure.
But for the best, for the best quality though, yeah, you going like I would say get a middle of the road. Like I wouldn't get the cheapest light. I wouldn't get the most expensive light.
Right,
Me
right.
personally, I got Mars Hydro and Spider Farmer. Those are
Yep,
like name brand lights.
yep.
I got two Mars Hydros. I got one Spider Farmer, and then I got like three other cheap lights
Hmm.
that I use. You know what I mean? Like for like, because you don't need a big expensive light for seedlings
No.
or like So say you got like we got two tents. Say you got
Yep,
two tents and you just got seedlings growing right now. I got mine in my big tent, but I could easily have all those in my small tent with my cheap light
yep,
to start them off. Till they
yep.
start getting some size. Then I can put them in there with the good lights and all of that.
For
So
sure, for sure.
so yeah, the first thing I would do, I would
Break down
probably
like
go
this.
ahead, like I said, and get the light tent combo. I would first thing I would do is I would order my seeds. So I would go online, order my seeds because the seeds are gonna take a couple of weeks to get there more than likely,
Hmm.
depending on where you order from. I like I said, the only place I know is where my sister has ordered her seeds, and it always take her seeds like 3 weeks to a month at tops, no longer than a month, but like at least 2 3 weeks.
Right.
So I would order my seeds because they won't be there for a few weeks. Then I would get on Amazon and you can find a light tent combo, or I know for a fact you can find a tent for $60.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And you can find a light $130, $120. Like those is like the middle of the road lights.
For
Like
sure.
I got a Mars Hydro for $140.
Hmm.
So and like I said, that's a name brand light. So you can get a Mars Hydro for $140. And you can get some cheaper ones too. You can get some for half that price, but those are gonna be super cheap, like I said.
Right,
So,
right.
but I feel like for $200, you can go get a light, a tent, and some seeds.
For sure, for sure.
And some seeds. And you don't have to. I don't even recommend buying seeds. If it was my first grow, I there's no way in hell I'm buying seeds. I'm gonna use some seeds that I got right out the bag from some of my weed already, or you know what I mean. I'm gonna use the free seeds that I got. Those
Right.
seeds work just fine, believe it or not. I don't know if people know that.
Oh yeah,
But those
yeah. No
seeds,
doubt.
those seeds that you find in your weed, those is real seeds. All right.
Right. Now we just had a comment and it said break down the light distance and light power. So I'm gonna get into that real quick. Now the first thing I'm gonna tell everybody, each light is different. I have two different lights. I have a Spider Farmer and a Vivo Sun. Okay, and your manufacturer guide is gonna tell you. So like during germination germination and seedling. Okay, I run my light at 25% until it's in veg. Okay, and
Mm-hmm.
I run both my lights 15 inches from the top of the plant. Now, like I said, check the manufacturer guide because some lights are going to tell you to run them 18 inches away from the plant. Okay, depending on the light, but your manufacturer guide is going to tell you what percentage you want your light on and how far away from the plant. Okay, and just from growing, this is kind of funny, but I kind of found like my own sweet spot. So like both my lights, I run 15 inches away from the plant all the way up until it goes in flower. Then I drop them down to 12 inches away from the plant. Now, when I'm in seedling right now, when I go into the vegetative stage, I'll crank my light up to 50%. Okay. Then in
Hmm.
flower, 100%. You know, the flower needs the most light. So check what the manufacturer guide says, because not all lights are the same, obviously. You know what I mean? So that's just light distance and power. You know what I mean? Just definitely, if you have a Spider Farmer, a certain Spider Farmer light, check what Spider Farmer says. Vivo Sun, Mars Hydro. You know, check what they say. Then once you get experience, you can play with it and try to find your own little sweet spot.
Yeah, and that's where I'm at with it right there. Is shit I've been growing for years. I got a sweet spot, and not only that, like you said, you can turn your lights up. Some lights have a dimmer on them, so my
Hmm.
lights they sit about 48 inches up away from my plant, so they sit kind of far.
Yeah.
But I can turn my dimmer all the way up
Hmm.
to increase the energy, or I can turn it down so it's not shining that hard on them. While they're seedlings, again, they don't need that much while they're seedlings.
No.
So I got my lights up and I got them dimmed. I don't even have it turned all the way up. Now, as they get older and get bigger and stronger, I'll start getting the light more intense. I'm leading all the way up until flower. Once they start flowering, that's where you want to get it all the way up on them, close
Right.
on them, right there, like a few inches back. So I
Right.
kind of like do a nice little build up. We
For
start
sure.
off far, and the bigger they get, the closer the light get, and the more intense it get.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Now, I want to get into something real quick because we talked about germinating photo periods. Like, all right, double back down to autoflowers. We put our autoflowers in its forever home. So we don't, after germination, it's going to pop up and, you water your plant, take care of all that. But with photo periods, the way I did it and the way you did it in the cup, I want to show them how to take the seed with the taproot and put it in the soil. So, Will, if you would cue my video, it should say number 3, I believe.
So one of our photo periods popped. Using the heating pad, going ahead and look at that. So you can see the tail coming out of the seed. The heating pad, that's just one day, 24 hours. The heating pad really does work. It does wonders. But what I'm gonna do, I use these starter cups and I start my photo periods out and in. So I'm gonna do the same thing I did with the autoflower, using my fingernail as a measuring stick, right in the middle, make a hole up to the tip of my fingernail. Okay. And I'm gonna get the same thing to poke a hole. That's where I'm gonna put the root at. So I use this, right? I use the tip of that and I make a little hole down in there. That way I'm gonna stick my root down in there, okay? And carefully, you just take your seed, don't damage the root, okay? And plant your seed. You gotta be careful. This is a delicate stage, okay? Once you got your seed down there, zoom in on that. You got it?
Yep.
So the roots down in there, the seeds right there. Again, I'm gonna cover it up. I don't make it too tight. I just cover it, okay? And then I'm gonna take that same water I used. Just get it nice and moist. Get it nice and moist. There we go. All right, then I'm gonna take my water bottle. I poked holes in and I'm gonna put it over top of it just like that. It's gonna make it nice and humid, okay? And I got my light 15 inches above the plant. I'm gonna keep my light 15 inches above the plants until we flip it into flower. Then I'm gonna go 12 inches. I'm gonna move down 3 inches. We'll cross that road when we get there. But that is how I'm starting off my photo period. That photo period is the Dynamite Diesel from Mike Tyson. We are still waiting for the Blue Skunk to germinate, but we're on our way. See you soon.
All right. Yes, that's 100 for sure.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah, man, I
So
like these little tutorials, man.
yeah, me too, bro. This is pretty slick. And like I said, anybody watching, man, like photos and autos are different. So once you get that tap root to come out, be careful with it. You know what I mean? If you damage the tap root, you got to start all the way over. You know what I mean? But yeah,
Now
just
that's the scariest part. That's the
it
man.
is it delicate, man. So just be careful with your stuff and refer back to the videos. Once you get your seeds germinated, make sure You know, poke. You know, use your fingernail as a measuring stick is what I do, and then put it down in there. Don't pack the dirt too tight. You know what I mean? You want that seed to be able to, you know, grow up
Mm-hmm.
and break the soil. So yeah, that's I think we did a really good job covering germination for autoflowers and photo periods. And like you said, I've heard you say many times, I say the same thing. Be patient, guys. It's gonna grow. You know what I mean? And once you get that little seedling, once it breaks the dirt, it's a good feeling. You know, you did what you were supposed to. You did a good job as far as germinating, planting them, and all that. It's a sense of gratification once they break that soil, man. You feel good about that.
Nah, man, absolutely. And I didn't use this method this time for this particular grow, but my favorite 100% method for germinating seeds, 100% favorite method is the paper, putting them in a paper cup, getting a paper cup, getting the soil, putting the soil in the paper cup, putting the seed as is right inside the paper cup, watering it, getting it nice and moist, and then I take a sandwich bag and I put it over top of the paper cup and
Yeah.
sit it inside the tent with the light. That sandwich bag over top of it, it give it that dome effect, so
Yep.
it stays moist inside of it. And again, the seedling just comes right up into the sandwich bag a little bit sometimes.
Hmm.
And shoot, that bruh, that it's almost 100% germination method. Like if that seed is good, it worked every time.
Right.
I
Right.
didn't do it this time. I didn't check to have see if I had sandwich bags, but that's just a proven method that I like. It get my seeds. They come up real healthy, real tall, real green. So
Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
that's just
And I
another
wanna
method I like to use,
I
man.
want to double back to something you said, okay? Because you know I've put stuff on Facebook like through grows. I haven't necessarily done a show, but I've put stuff on my stories, show people, and I get questions, and people try to grow, okay? And a lot of people will go on to Seedmans or Royal Queen Seeds, and they'll spend good money on seeds, but don't know how to germinate. Okay, so you don't wasted 20, 10, 20, $50, right? So what you said,
Hmm.
I would either take bag seeds to start, or I would if you don't have any seeds, we'll go on Seedmans. But here's the thing: spend $5, $10. You know, if you're gonna run into problems during germination, don't waste good money. You know what I mean? I got $5, $10 to play with. Okay, if something goes wrong, you're not throwing your money away. You know, don't spend $50 on the best strain of marijuana. You're just starting out growing. You know what I mean? Let's Your main goal, your first grow, is to get from start to finish. You know what I mean? You're not trying to grow the best marijuana anybody's ever smoked. You know, that's not it. Just get from start to finish, and then once you have a grow under your belt, spend some money on some seeds. You know what I mean? If that's what you want to do. But I would not recommend spending a whole bunch of money on seeds your first grow.
Nah, for real. And me growing those bag seeds, man, that's what messed me up with buying seeds now because I know how easy it is to just grow some seeds from some weeds you get. So
Right,
if I get some weed from somebody, somebody give me some weed, or I buy something from somebody every once in a while. If I ever get a seed, I'm like, oh shit, I'm keeping this.
right,
You
right,
feel
for
me?
sure.
Especially if the weed looks good, because all that seed is a child of that weed. So
Exactly,
it's
exactly.
not gonna be the exact same weed, but it's gonna be in the ballpark.
Right, right.
It might be better. It might be worse.
Yeah,
You
exactly,
never know. It's a
exactly.
seed. That's the
Yep,
potential of a seed, man.
yep.
You never know what you're going to get. And whenever you grow in a seed, unless you're growing like especially when you're growing a bag seed, when you're growing a bag seed, you're growing a strain that nobody else has.
Yeah,
That nobody else has. It's literally a bag seed. The it's other seeds in that bag, but no two seeds are alike. It's just
right.
like you got brothers and sisters. Y'all are all seeds of your parents. Y'all
Mm-hmm.
got the same genetics. You know what I'm saying? Me and my sister, we got the same mom and dad. So we got the same genetics in us, but we don't look exactly alike, do we?
Right.
We don't, you know what I'm saying? Same thing with weed plants.
Yeah.
You can get seeds from one plant. All these seeds will not look the same. They're going to show different traits. You know
Yes,
what I'm saying?
for sure.
So
That's a
again,
great point.
every seed, unless it's a clone copy, every seed is different.
Yep,
Every seed is different.
yep, for sure.
So
And now, I'm gonna cue my last. This will be the last video from me, Will. But I want to show people what I was talking about. Is if you follow these steps, step by step, you're gonna have success. And this is what your first sign of success looks like. So, Will, if you would throw my last video on there.
As the germination process is over, We got our seeds planted, and as you can see, they've broken the soil. So we got our Dynamite Diesel, who germinated first, broke the soil first. It's a little bit bigger.
Dynamite Diesel.
Then yesterday,
I need a clone of that.
what is this? Blue Skunk hit broke the dirt. That's 2 photo periods. So the paper towel method on the heating pad did work for the photos. As you can see, I germinated 3 seeds, 2 of them popped. So that's 2 out of 3 on photo periods. Now we're gonna move over to the autoflower tent. And over here, remember, we did not do the paper towel method. We just straight into the pot for an autoflower. You never want to transplant an autoflower, and we're going to explain that as we get into the show. But everything's germinated, everything's broken to dirt, and now we just let them grow. This one is not going to get transplanted. When we go over to here, I'm going to explain something to you guys. If my cameraman will zoom into the big one. Okay, we have 2 smooth leaves right here. Okay. Those are not true leaves. True leaves are the ones that are rigid. They got they're kind of spiky, look like marijuana leaves. I'm not gonna transplant my photo periods until it gets a second set of true leaves. Once it has a second set of true leaves and they're big, I'm gonna teach you guys how to transplant into a bigger pot. But we'll get into all that. This is gonna be a process. You're gonna learn a lot, and patience is key. See you guys on the show.
And I'll say one thing real quick. When we went to the autoflower tent, you really couldn't see it. I couldn't see it on video, but it did break. It's just they start off so small, guys. So and y'all was probably looking like I'm just looking at dirt. No, that it did break the soil. So that's like I said, you follow them steps on germination and you be patient, and you're gonna enjoy the fruits of your labor, literally. So.
Oh, yeah, everything came up that you germinated, like all.
Yeah, as far as the paper towel, my first Blue Skunk was a dud. It never popped. So what I did, I left it on there, but I put another blue skunk seed same way, and the next day that tail broke. So I'm like, you'll come across some seeds that won't germinate. That's why you'll buy a pack of 5 or a pack of 3, because usually the seeds germinate, but you will have duds in there. You know what I mean? Or sometimes seeds take longer to germinate. You know what I mean? Maybe I wasn't patient enough, because maybe that one eventually would have popped. But some, like he said, some seeds, not all, you can have the same strand, but different characteristics. So this seed might pop after a day. This seed might take a week to pop. You know what I mean? Just depends. But to answer your question, I germinated a total of 4 seeds, and I got 3 plants.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I got 5. I had 6, but one of them in the paper cups, it came up, it popped, but it just. I went in there one day into the tent. It was just sad leaning over, and I just let it go. Like,
yeah.
If you can't make it now, I don't even need you, partner. Just go ahead and perish.
Right.
So I got 5 going.
I'm glad we're talking about this, because we each had one that failed. And I would recommend anybody watching this who's going to start and do their first grow, if you're planning on growing 2 plants, I would germinate 4 or 5 seeds, because me and D have been doing this for a while, so our success rate is going to be higher. We know what we're doing. But starting out, you're probably going to lose some, whether it's seeds don't pop, or whether they, like he said, you come in, they'll be leaning over. You don't want to deal with that plant. So plan to fail, okay? Some of them are going to fail. Some of them are going to be successful. But don't put all your don't put it all on one. You know what I mean? If you're going to grow 1, germinate 2, 3. Give yourself room to fail.
Especially if you're growing bag seeds, because one thing with growing bag seeds, like I grow a lot of the time, your seeds aren't a stable strain. And what I mean by that is, like the seeds that Ant is ordering, when you go to seeds and order something, those strains, they've been bred and bred and bred and bred and bred some more to know exactly, all right, this seed is going to produce this. You know what I'm saying? It's a stable strain. They know exactly, they're selling those. So they had to make sure that their strain is stable. So they know if you plant it and it germinates, it's going to produce this if you maximize it out. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Seeds that I'm growing, they don't have no studies or no stable or none of that. It's just a random strain. It might have deficiencies in it, that you just can't do nothing about. Just like a person growing with deficiencies, you know what I'm saying? Brain deficiencies or whatever, body part deficiencies, you know what I'm saying? I have a person can be born with that. Same thing with your weed plants. You can just have a bad seed that it just got deficiency, genetic disorders, something that we can't, something in nature.
Right.
So again, that's one thing about bag seeds. They are more risky.
For
Okay.
sure.
They
For
definitely more
sure.
risky. You never know what you're gonna get. Whereas when you buy something, you're literally expecting to get what you buy.
For okay, hold on. All right, there we
I thought
go.
you blinked out
All
for a
right.
second. All
Yeah.
right.
Then
Yeah.
another thing. Was you saying something, D?
No, go ahead.
Oh shit, I can't hear you.
Can you hear me?
I'm gonna have to hold on, guys. I got a technical difficulty. I'm gonna
Go ahead. You
bounce out,
straight.
then come right back in. I'll be right back. Give me a second.
Let Aunt Bayless figure his life out real quick. But like I was saying though, y'all, yeah, you take a risk when you grow bag seeds compared to growing regular seeds that you buy offline, just for the simple fact that they've been bred online. But I've been growing bag seeds for the longest. It's been working out for me.
For
You see
sure.
how green those plants look.
Can you hear me, D?
Yeah, I hear you. You hear me?
Yeah, yeah. And let me say something else too. I'm glad we're talking about seeds. Okay. So
Yeah.
all right. So when you order seeds offline, guys, if you're going to order offline, make sure they say feminized. Okay. Your female seeds and your female plants are the ones that you're going to get your bud from. Males are used to breed. So if I wanted to cross OG Kush and Bubba Kush, I would need a male of OG Kush and Bubba Kush to pollinate the female plant. Okay, so males are used for breeding. But here's the thing: this is our first grow, we're not breeding yet. You know what I mean? Now me and D might be breeding, but this is for you guys. So save the breeding after, like I said, you got a grow 2, 3 under your belt. But ordering seeds offline, get female seeds. Now, D, you're growing bag seeds. So I want you guys to understand if you guys decide to go the bag seed way, and how many plants you got going right now, D?
I got 5.
5. So D can expect at least one of his plants to be a male. Okay,
At
at,
least
at
one.
least yeah, at least one. And as we get into the show, your plants are going to show their sex parts. Okay, it's going to show if it's a male. It's going to show if it's a female. So D is going to be able to show and teach you guys. Okay, this is how you know this is a male. This is how you know this is a female. So just remember, if you go the backseat way, you're going to learn male, female, stuff like that.
Hmm.
Yep.
Absolutely. You gotta pay attention to them. If you just let them go too long, those male plants will definitely start pollinating the females.
Yes.
And again, we'll get through this through our other shows, but
Yep.
yeah, you'll see those white hair. The females got white hairs, the males got ball sacks, and that pollen comes out of them. That pollen gets onto the white hairs, and that's
Hmm.
how they have sex and make seeds. And
Yes.
that's when you get seeded weed. So you don't
Seeded
want
wheat.
that pollen to get on those white hairs. So
Yes.
you got to get those males out of there. But
Yep.
again, you'll hear that a lot throughout the show, man. You hear that
Yeah,
a lot.
yeah, for sure, for sure. And I'm gonna tell a story real quick because this is a misconception people have. So coming up smoking, everybody goes, if it's loud or if it's dro or kush, whatever you want to call it, people always say that good weed don't have seeds in it. Okay, now I'm gonna tell y'all from growing. I grew a Bubba Kush. It was Bubba Kush ordered offline, and this the strand of Bubba Kush. Okay, but I overstressed my plants, and I think one made seeds and then pollinated the other one, right? So when I went and harvested, and you couldn't tell until you harvested. So I cut my plant down, I'm trimming it up. I had one seed fall out, and I was happy. I was like, oh, I got a seed off this plant, right? Nah, bro, I kept trimming, bruh. My Bubba Kush was full of seeds. And when I say full of seeds, bro, I had 100 seeds off of that plant. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
but here's the thing. I thought it was funny because if I'd have gave it to somebody, if somebody would have smoked some, they'd have been like, "Man, this is garbage." Just saying, nah, it's still Bubba Kush. It just it's full of seeds. You know what I mean? So if you
Yeah.
don't want seedy weed, you have to do it right. You don't want to overstress, or like he said, you don't want to have a male growing next to it. You could go outside and brush up against a flower, get some pollen on you, go into your tent. You done pollinated. You got pollen on your plant. It's
Yep.
gonna make seeds. You know what I mean? So you just got to be
Mm-hmm.
careful with that.
No, absolutely. And it's like you said with the seeds, with the Bubba Kush and stuff, man. Yeah, that's a misconception for sure. See,
Yeah.
the thing is with weed that has seeds in it, the reason that the weed with seeds in it, they call it Reggie, basically, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
The reason that Reggie exists is because when when a plant gets pollinated or gets stressed, whenever a plant starts making seeds, it stops concentrating on making buds.
Yes.
So now your buds aren't going to look as good
Mm-hmm.
because it's putting all this energy into making the seeds. It has to put energy in the seeds. You know what I'm saying? Because
Right.
that that's a whole fucking seed.
Yeah.
It ain't gonna just be able to make the prettiest weed ever and give you seeds. You can't get both. You can get some weed with some seeds in it though, and the seeds are gonna be healthy because the seeds is what the plant concentrates on first. You know what I'm saying? Because if it's stressed out, it's like, oh damn, let me try to make sure my lineage can go on. You know what I'm
Exactly.
saying? And put
Exactly.
out all these motherfucking kids.
Yep.
So that's all the plant is doing is trying to put out as many seeds. Once it start doing that, it don't care about the flower no more.
Nope.
That's just a bonus part if it's still decent.
Right.
So that's where Reggie comes in from. Now that same Bubba Kush plant that you're talking about, that's where I mean when I say all the plants are different, but it depends on what environment they're in. So we can take two Bubba Kush seeds from the same mother or whatever. We both got. You can give me a seed out your pack.
Mm-hmm.
If your seed gets pollinated and like your plant gets pollinated and it makes seeds, and mine doesn't, my Bubba Kush is gonna look way better than your Bubba Kush
Right.
because yours start putting energy into making seeds.
Exactly.
It's still Bubba Kush,
Yeah.
but the quality isn't the same because it wasn't maxed out like mine is. As far as
Exactly.
mine didn't get pollinated, so when it's flowering, it's just flowering.
Yep.
That's it. It ain't concentrating on making seeds. It's just
Yep.
making bud, and that's the difference.
Yep. Now you took the words out of my mouth because what I was gonna say when you finished, I was gonna say your plant's trying to save its own life. It's just trying to, like you said, preserve itself. So if you
Hmm.
overstress a plant, it's gonna think I'm dying. I need to, like you said, make kids so the lineage goes on, and that's exactly what it does. So yeah, man, I'm happy we're doing the show because we both got put out good knowledge to the people, man. I like this.
Hey, for sure. It's just the tip of the iceberg too, man. It's the tip
Yeah,
of the iceberg. We just on germination
right, right.
and what to buy.
I'm gonna let everybody know next week. So we have a week until next episode. So we taught you guys how to germinate autoflower photo periods, how to get them in the soil. By the time next show rolls around, at least one thing I'll be teaching you guys, or will be teaching you guys, is how to. I'll be transplanting the smaller plants in the bigger pots. I am gonna nutrient. I'm gonna put newts in my soil. I don't like soil with nutrients already in it. So I'm gonna put nutrients and water, show you guys how to pH your water, and it's gonna be a lot of learning, but just stick with us, and we'll get you guys through it.
No, absolutely. And shoot, I look forward to seeing that, man. I like these little tutorial videos you got, man. Make sure you keep dropping them on us, man.
Yes, sir.
Make
Yes,
sure you
sir.
keep dropping them on us for
Yeah.
sure. Because I don't use nutrients that often, so
Right,
it's
right.
definitely gonna be an experience, man.
Now, and I was thinking about that earlier because I know later, and this is later, you're gonna amend your soil, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, see, I've never used dry amendments or anything like that. So it's gonna be cool for me to watch you amend your soil and stuff like that. You know what I mean?
Top dressing.
Yeah, yeah. So I mean, really, it's good. Like not only are the fans or viewers learning, we'll be learning too. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So let's
Mm-hmm.
be slick
Yeah, styles make fights, man, for
for
sure.
sure.
All right, man. Shoot, you got any final thoughts, brother? Let's get up out of here.
Now I'm excited, and I hope anybody who's thinking about growing, hey, if you got any questions, hit us up. You can hit us up on the page, Green Thumb Academy, or message us personally. We got y'all.
Absolutely, we got y'all. And if you're watching, if you're thinking about growing, go get you a tent and go get you a grow light. It don't have to be the best of either one. You can get you a tent on Amazon for $60. You can get you a grow light for around $100 off, both of them off Amazon. And then again, get you some bag seeds. You don't gotta order your seeds offline and these expensive ass seeds. Get you
Right.
some bag seeds. Reach out to me on the show. I'll send you some seeds. How about that?
There
You
you
reach out in
go.
the
I like
comments,
that
I'll send you some of my seeds. All
for
right.
sure.
And I guarantee to pop. So again, you watching the show, tune in next week, same time, 9 a.m. and get your grow stuff together. All right. Let's start growing together. It's not too late. It is not too late.
Oh yeah.
All right. Shout out to Ant Bayless.
Shout out,
Shout out
brother.
to Will, producer. We up out of here, man. Green Thumb Academy, episode 1. Let's
Peace.
go.